everybody. Welcome to my Craft Around the Clock segment. I'm Yvette from Old Times Paint Parties, and tonight we're going to be painting this little lamb and chick that I have got going here on this blank round, but this is where we're headed. Come on in. When you get here, say hello. Hey, hey, ladies. All right, well, we're not going to waste too much time. I know Tracy will be in here sharing us over here momentarily, so we're just going to go ahead and get started. So again, this is where we're headed, and this is our blank, and we're going to just start getting going on painting this guy. So I'm just going to set this one aside. Now I have pinned the post for the template for this one. If you're interested in the template, you can grab it in my shop page. But we're just going to show you the tutorial of how I painted it. It's quite a simple paint. It's not anything too crazy. We do have to paint around some things, so you know, there's that. So I'm just going to use a little bit of sage mint on the background here. How's everybody doing tonight? Hi, Deanna. So this is as a template in my shop, and also if you want the pre-engraved 10-inch. I think it's 10-inch. I don't know. I haven't got my ruler. There's a blank that you can buy. I think this. Let me just measure. Let me measure. Yeah, 10-inch. But if you want to make this bigger, you could of course get the template and make it any size you want. Not too bad. Busy. Just had to take a station break here to come on and do my Craft Around the Clock segment. We're here till 10, so we may not get this whole thing finished, but as always, if I don't finish this, we can stop where we're at, and my next Craft Around the Clock segment, we can finish it up. Hi, Miss Tracy. So we're shared now over into the Craft Around the Clock group, and I have put that link at the top of the page. If you're not a member of that group, you can pop over there and become one. And also, if you're new to my page, make sure you give us a follow and sprinkle us out if you are so inclined. So like I said, this is painting around things. It's going to take a hot minute. I'm not the fastest at painting around things. I apologize for that. I know some ladies are pretty quick at it, but I, on the other hand, not so much. I always feel like I'm under pressure when I'm painting around things. Do you feel like that? Maybe it's just me. When I'm on a live, I always feel like I'm under pressure to get things done quicker. Hi, Karina. So this is just a little tutorial of, like I said, of how I painted this. But of course, you could paint yours in any color you wanted. You wouldn't have to stick to my exact color palette. I mean, there's no rules. I'm kind of a fan of pastels, so that's why I chose, mostly the lighter colors for this. But I mean, you could do any colors you wanted. Your own creativity. Hi, Cynthia. So who got all that snow last night? I need to know. I need to know. We got a lot of snow when it was super warm yesterday. Everything was melted. It was lovely out. Didn't even have to wear a winter coat. And I thought, oh, could it be spring here? And then I heard the wind pick up in the middle of the night. And I thought, what the heck? So I looked on the front camera and it was a blizzard outside. I thought, what is happening? And we have it all back. And the power went out last night too. Woke up to blinking clocks and I don't know what the heck. Mother Nature, she decided, like, just kidding. It's not spring yet, kids. Hello, Mary. So I'm struggling here to get this background on so we can get to the fun stuff, the little lamb and chick. So bear with me. And like I said, if we don't get this completely finished tonight, we will finish it in our next Craft Around the Clock segment, where we're going to do our, oh my goodness, do our best to get as far as we can tonight anyway. You got about 4 inches. I think that's probably what we got too. I'm not going to say we didn't get like 40 inches of snow or anything, but I think probably about that. But that's enough. We don't want it anymore. We're over it. Doesn't she know? What is an atmospheric river? Oh no, what is that? Do tell. I don't understand what that is. Explain this to me, Deanna. Should I know what that is? I don't know what it is. We're almost there. We almost have this background in place. I probably should have put one coat on this before I started, but I didn't. So you're just going to have to bear with me as we get this in here. And all the spinning, making you dizzy. Apologize for that. Oh, okay. We've had some rain too. We've had quite a bit of rain in between snow and all the other things, but yes, a lot of flooding. Okay, I understand now. Now I know what it is. Now, sadly, once I get this one coat on, I'll probably have to put a second at some point. But I do want to at least get one coat on here so I can move on to the next color. So that if you do decide to get a template, you can actually come back here and watch this repeat of this video. The first coat on wood blanks kind of sinks right into the wood. So you always kind of have to kind of bet that you're going to have to paint it again. But on camera, that sort of looks like, what color are you guys seeing? Because as I look in my camera, it looks more like Bahama blue than sage mint. But it is a sage color. And if you look on the listing in my shop, you can see that the photo is like more of a sage color. But it's funny how the camera plays tricks with colors. So I'm just curious to see what you see. Thanks for sprinkling me out, Kelly. I appreciate that. Appreciate that. We've almost made it to the end of this background color. And then we can move on to the next color. And I didn't bring I had my dryer downstairs, so I don't have it with me tonight. So we're just going to have to watch paint dry. That's always fun. Because I don't have it up here. It looks more like, yeah, it's funny. It's really actually sage mint. This is the color that I'm using, is sage mint, and the camera is making it more of a teal color. Bizarre. Okay. So down here for the wood, we're going to use a little bit of burlap. But like I said, if you go look at the photo in my shop, you'll see the actual color in the photo. Wonder, does the original, when I put it up here, does it look like teal? No, see, it looks a little more sagey, I guess. Weird. Just weird. It's the same color, honest, that I used on the original. Me too, Mary. I'm ready for that too. I'm about over this hot and cold, hot and cold. I mean, not hot, but you know, it's like warm one day and snowing the next, and you never know how to dress anymore. I want to put the winter coat away. That's all I want to do. Retire it for the season would be nice. Maybe go, you know, get the camper out from its winter slumber. Be nice. Can't wait to get that out. You know, it's funny. I always say, you know, just wait. We'll all be complaining it's too hot out, and I'm over summer. It's too hot. Are we ever happy? Maybe it's just me. As I get older, I can't take the extreme heat and the extreme cold anymore. But I was born in Ontario, so I have to put up with the 4 seasons. We get it all. So we're just getting this little board on here where he's leaning up or jumped up on, based with our burlap. And then we can start on our lamb and our chicken. Okay. All right, so far so good. So, of course, the lamb body parts, his body, his legs, and his head, ears, are all just based with white. Very, very simple. I didn't do anything too wild or crazy with this one. Pretty simple palette. I complain about them all too, Karina. And spring is your favorite, Terry? Yeah, I like spring too. I do like fall though. I mean, fall and spring are probably my two favorite seasons. These little pre-engraved boards are really kind of nice to paint on because everything's already mapped out for you, and you just kind of have to block in each little area, so it kind of makes it fun. You know, no transferring to do and all that messing around. Sorry for all the spinning, guys. I'm trying to keep my hands out of the wet paint because, like I said, I forgot my dryer downstairs. I'm upstairs, and we don't have time to go running around chasing that thing. So we're just gonna persevere without it tonight. And I know it speeds the process up a little bit, and I don't have to avoid wet paint like this, but it was my fault. I left it down there, so. Oh well. I do have my blow dryer up here. I probably could use that, but it's loud as all get out, so we'll just carry on. So his little ears, I'm just mapping in here with some white. You say that, Kelly, that you won't complain about the heat, but I give you about a month in because I say the same thing. And then I'm complaining about the heat and the mosquitoes and bugs and bees. And, you know, that's one thing about winter, that you never have to worry about mosquitoes and bees and hornets and all those things that summer brings with it. I don't believe you. It's what I'm saying. I bet you'll be complaining right along with me. So his little face, I painted in a different color. So I painted that in some light flesh tone, natural buff, which I will get to here in a second when I get this white blocked in. And again, you could do it white if you wanted to, but I chose to do it in a little bit of a more flesh tone just for a little change. Why not? Hi, Mary Lou. How are you? All right, almost got this first coat of white on here, and then we're going to go in with that blush color, that natural buff color for his face. All right. I don't know what I just hit there, but okay. I'll be waiting, Kelly, because I know you will be. All right, now I just want to see something here. I don't have a whole lot of that natural buff color left in this jar, so I'm going to hope that we have enough to get this based here. That one's on its last legs. And here we are painting around things. And that's sort of the thing. Painting around things is, I say that all the time to my membership ladies, that it's one of my least favorite things to do. And here I am painting around everything. But you can't really avoid it with these little engraved cutouts. So I did it to myself. They're fun to paint, don't get me wrong. As long as you're not bored, I'm okay. I don't want to lose you. Hello, Miss Julie. All right. Now his eyes and his little feet here are based with black. We'll get those based in. I'm going to do the little chick size too because they're black as well. We might as well get all of the black areas done while I have it on my brush. We have about 20 minutes left, so hopefully I can get all of this basing finished. But I can see that we're probably going to have to do a part 2 on this guy too. My paintings always tend to have a part 2, don't they? That's all right. At least you get to see the full thing, the full painting anyway. And these little eyes up here on this chick. All right. Starting to come together. Deanna, part 3. That'd be okay too. It's not a race, you know? It's not a race. We don't have to, you know, I don't have to be so hung up on it. So we're going to do all the little hearts and the nose, which is also a heart, of course, with some blush pink. So we're going to do that color in here, and then all the little hearts around the background. And then our little chick, we might as well get him based in now. I based with some of the baby duck. It's getting empty too. Using up all the last bits here. So I was going to say that Miss Tracy's probably thinking, our fearless leader over at Craft Around the Clock is probably thinking, oh my goodness, she actually made it this week, because 2 weeks ago I was supposed to go live on Craft Around the Clock and I got a migraine and I had to cancel my time slot. And then last week, last week it was bad. I thought that I would do a little bit of rearranging of some furniture, and I lifted something that I probably shouldn't have ever thought that I could. I don't know why I thought that I could. I was just being impatient, not waiting for some help, and I threw my back out so badly that when I lifted on, it was a hope chest and it was full of stuff. And I mean, I should have unloaded it to move it, but I was again being impatient and I tried to move it. And I only needed to move it like 6 inches one way. And I was standing over it, kind of bent over, thinking, oh no, I can't move. And I just stood there for like bent over because I thought I can't stand up. My back, I threw it out. And anyway, so I tried to think that, oh, if I rested a little bit, you know, I'll be able to. I couldn't sit. I couldn't lay down. I couldn't. Oh, everything hurt. So that's why I wasn't around last week either. So she's probably thinking she finally made it. She got herself together. I was a hot mess, I'll tell you. Oh, that was bad. I've never thrown my back out so badly, ever. You know that you're, you know, your age. I hate to say it, ladies, but, you know, in your head, you think you're still 20. You're really not. You're really not. Your body lets you know every now and then that, who do you think you are, lady? Thinking you're going to lift on that. Let me show you how old you really are. It was a sad day. Ooh. So that's why I was AWOL. If you had noticed, I was on the list for one night each of those 2 weeks. But that's what happened. Yep. So it seems to be straightened around a little bit now. I can actually, it's starting to feel a little better now. But it was probably, you know, a good week or so. I think my words to Tracy were, I thought I could try to come on live, but I can't do much of anything. And it wasn't even a lie. I was down for the count. I really did try. All right, centers of the flowers. Let me see. Let me see here. I think I did those in marigold. Oh, there's some marigold. The flowers I just did in white, the petals, and then the centers I did. And again, I mean, you could do your flowers any color you wanted. I just stuck with white, little daisy sort of flowers. I'm going to just get these little petals based in here first. I'll just do one little flower for the moment. I just wanted to, so white petals, I'll get them all kind of done because I'm seeing a part 2 coming here. So I'll get this one done so you can see what I'm talking about. We'll come back to that in a second. So that's all I did for those. And I think I'll come back in here on my white and put a second coat on my little lammy. Second coat always goes on a little bit better once you get that first one and it's kind of sinks into the wood. The second one is always a little brighter. So I think next week I'm on Tuesday night as well. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure. So I can post when I'm back on my next Craft Around the Clock segment, and we'll finish this little guy up. There's some shading we have to do and things like that to make them come alive a little bit. But most definitely there'll be a part 2 to this one. So if you tune in next week, hello, Colleen. We can see there's the wet paint. Put my hand right in it. Tune in next week and we will finish this wee feller up. But in the meantime, if you want to get that template, I have pinned that post here in the comments. If you want to pop over and grab one of those, or you can, venture further on into my page. And if you want one of these little wood blanks, you can grab one of the pre-engraved blanks as well. Either or, if you're interested. Paint one of your own. All right, that's looking a little better. A little brighter. I'm good, Colleen. How are you doing? Seeing some faces in here tonight that I haven't seen in a little while. All right, we got 8 minutes left to do some base coating. I should say that, if I don't go lifting on things and, hurting myself or having migraines, I guess that, I'll be back next week. I shouldn't make promises like that because, knowing me, who knows what I'll get myself into between now and then. I don't have the best of luck, y'all. I do not. Well, it's not like I'm trying to be, Terry. I mean, I don't want to be accident prone. I think I don't know if it's accident prone or I honestly still think I can do all these things and I can't. I just can't. But I am a very impatient person in the way that I just think I'll just do it myself and then I won't have to ask for help. But I guess I've come to the stage where I just better ask for help. But it's funny, my help did it to himself loading a snowblower onto a truck and threw his back out a week or so prior. So, I mean, we're a great pair. We're a great pair. We have to face facts. We're just old people now. All right. There's second coat of white. Hello, Miss Ann from Illinois. All right, let's get this second coat of this. I want to show you how much different that second coat sort of looks. You can see how much brighter that second coat goes on there. But I fear that since we only have 5 minutes left, you're going to have to wait for all the fun stuff is going to happen next week. All of the shading and all that fun stuff. Right now, it just sort of looks like, you're two-dimensional coloring book sort of blocking in. But the shading out just takes it to another level. Gives it a little bit of depth and a little more character. Now, not knocking how it looks right now, because I know some people that paint their little rounds, they don't, they just block it in. Sometimes that's all they want to do. That's okay too. I'm, not dissing anybody and how they do things. I just like to add a little something else to mine. Thank you, Colleen. I'll give you a little peek at the finished one here before we leave again so that you can see where we're headed. For those of you that popped on a little later and didn't get to see the original one of where we're going to. Oh, thanks, Tracy. Tracy says I can take a little more time tonight because no one's on after me. That's lovely. Maybe we'll just carry on then. All right. Thank you. Okay. This little yellow bird, we're going to put a second coat on there. We'll carry on for a little bit. We won't stay super late. I have some things I have to get done too on my end of the world. So we can just at least get a little bit more base coating done here. Okay. A little bit of pink for the nose. We get a little more color on there. Now, I know I should be, really wish I had my dryer now. It's okay. We're going to just keep going. I guess we can fill in some flowers while this stuff dries. Oh, hi, Pam. How are you? Okay. Let's fill in some of these flowers. Get some of these petals going here. All right, one more little flower, and then we'll get the centers in. And I don't think, ladies, I'm going to stay any longer than that tonight. I know Miss Tracy said I could stay a bit longer, but I think we have it base coated. I think that's pretty good for this time around. And then we'll come back, bring my dryer next time too. When we come back next week in our craft around the clock segment, we'll finish this little guy up. I just want to get the centers. I'll just finish these flowers up. And then I think I am going to sign off because I have stuff that I have to do. And it's calling my name. So we need to get that out of the way too. Got some work down in the shop. So centers. And then I'm going to give you another quick peek of my original so that you can see where we're headed and where we're going to finish out next week on our next craft around the clock segment. All right, so centers in. So that's pretty good. We got all of our base coating done tonight. Not a bad run. Okay, so this is where we're headed. So this is, you can just see the difference on how shading and everything just brings it to life. Like that's just our 2D sort of color blocked. Now, mind you, we haven't done any dots in the eyes or anything like that, but that just gives you a little sneak peek into how shading and everything just changes everything. All right, so this is where we're headed. We'll get this guy finished next week. So make sure you tune in to my next craft around the clock segment.